My most important part of the US Congress deliberations on the state of the nations as the borders of Nigeria states. Yes, I've posted this video earlier, but I'm bringing this part back because to me, these are the most important parts, and these are the parts that actually made some revelations and, said some things the way they are. I love the caliber of people that featured on this very show, and also some of the people that actually came to testify of what is going on in Nigeria. They said it the way it is and did not try to hide anything at all. Nigeria, of course, is in trouble, and anybody that watched this very show must understand that even the outside world, the Western world, the US, they are with this very show. The US would have been alerted very well to the realities of what is going on in Nigeria as against the total media blackout that is being imposed in Nigeria as the borders on those atrocities being committed, because the media is not actually conveying the information right to the Western world. I am talking about the state-sponsored terrorism being committed against the indigenous population in Nigeria. Please do well to subscribe to our channel, please, and may Elohim bless you greatly.
What do you think will happen in Nigeria if nothing is done? And could the country actually implode?
Yes, it can, and it will. I'm sorry to say that Nigeria can implode. It will implode. What has gotten us to this position is the denial on the leadership, is the denial on the elite that too big to fail. Nigeria is not too big to fail. When you have governors crying, making open statements, pointing accusing fingers at the president that the security situation is bad, now they are roping people in traffic. Yes, Nigeria can and it will. Unfortunately, in the years that have been involved in this, Congressman, you know that we have pushed, I have joined you to many meetings to push for an envoy for Nigeria. We produced this book. This is a 310-page book on the silent killings in Nigeria. It is real. It is real. There is an urgency for the United States, the British government, the French government, the German government to do something quickly as possible. And I think the best way, including doing the visits by Congress people, is for the President of the United States to appoint an envoy as a matter of urgency. What Nigeria is faced with now is existential. It is existential. And if Nigeria implodes, right now, Chad just lost their president. Niger just suffered a coup. Benin is unstable. Cote d'Ivoire is unstable. Mali is unstable.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Well, thank you so very much, Congressman and people in the panel for having this session. I'm a very concerned citizen. I migrated to the United States in 2015 because of the insecurity going on in modern day in Nigeria right now. And I'm from the Igbo speaking part of Nigeria. And I believe, Mr. Chris, you've been to Nigeria yourself, so you know the factions and all of that. And I want to just say this categorically, because I'm very in tune with what's happening, and I want to give you guys a light on how to help make things faster for everyone on this panel, especially if we want to see a lasting change in Nigeria before we all leave this earth. The truth of the matter is, the way it is currently, Nigeria is fighting both a religious war and a tribal war. And the religious war is from the people who want to implode and put in the jihadi, faction and way of life, as well as a tribal war where we are seeing the Igbos and the Yorubas and Hausas all saying that they want to separate from Nigeria. I feel like the first things should be on the agenda should be, how do we disintegrate Nigeria? How do we make Nigeria go back to, everyone goes back to their own particular space? Looking at the history of Nigeria, you would see that the founding fathers of modern day Nigeria never wanted Nigeria to work, and that was why they put Nigeria the way it is. And we have, we've spoken about how much people migrate to other parts of the world and develop other parts of the world. Most of the people who do this are the Igbo speaking tribe of Nigeria. They're the ones who are most concerned about development and progression. But there are some sect of people in Nigeria that are seeking to hold Nigeria down. And you've mentioned them. We all know them, and they're the Fulanis. They're the ones who are hell-bent on making sure that Nigeria becomes South Sudan or becomes Syria, and just ensure that the caliphate of militants, there will be a hybrid of militants that will be sent all the way from Nigeria to other parts of West Africa to cause even more havoc for Africans. So I would say this, and this is just my suggestion, it doesn't have to be followed, but I would say that right now, all hands should be on deck to see how we can disintegrate Nigeria. How can we ensure that people who are shouting or clamoring for Biafra, people who are clamoring for Oduduwa, people who are clamoring for whatever they are clamoring for, how can we ensure that they can go back and, create their own nations in Nigeria and see how those people can develop, collectively as a group or as a tribe? Because if not, if we continue to say that we want to go in and create a system whereby we help people in power, they've already infiltrated. We will only the Americans will only be giving the secrets to the enemies, and that's the fact. We would only be empowering the enemy for what they already have planned for the future. They already know what they want, and they would go out there and even create more havoc. So this is my suggestion, and I want to see what you guys think about it. Thank you very much.
I believe he wanted
Okay, why don't you ask another question? And I think he makes a good point, but why don't you ask another question?
And I'll give an example again where I learned something. For 3 years, I tried to get Boko Haram designated as a FTO, foreign terrorist organization. The Obama administration would not do it. So I held hearings. On the day I was going to mark up my bill to so designate it, they changed their policy and they said, we're designating them as an FTO. But what preceded all of that was meeting with members of the parliament, or the Congress, both sides, and they had a mistaken view as to what FTO actually meant. Somehow it was just branding Nigeria as a terrorist state rather than branding the individual group. I was kind of taken back by that false impression. And when they realized that we're looking to help them, because we want to track the flow of arms and money and everything else to these organizations with an FTO designation, they thought it was a good idea. But again, it was that contact with individual lawmakers and governors. We miss a great opportunity to know what's really going on when we just talk to the central government in Abuja and don't talk to the individual governors. And I've met with many individual governors over the years, including right here in this office. And you do get great insights as to what's going on that then are actionable. And to that original question about the dissolution, all of us are concerned that one, there will be more death and destruction and perhaps even a genocide. The crimes against humanity are already taking place in Nigeria. But, look at what happened in Yugoslavia, when it just all came apart, and the great loss of life that occurred there, which got even, so it could get much worse. That's why the special envoy and the coordination with other countries as well. There needs to be more of a UN effort. Frankly, it's been, the ICC, International Criminal Court, has taken forever to bring indictments against individuals who have committed horrific crimes. We should even be thinking about a hybrid court, like what Dr. White did and others in Sierra Leone or in Rwanda or in the former Yugoslavia itself. These crimes, if they go unattended to, it breeds more impunity and more people die. But again, right now, law enforcement is not reacting. So we've got to get Buhari to change the policy of neglect. When somebody says, we have actionable information that this church might be attacked, or as it's even happening, so that people are protected by a rapid deployment of a police force, a federal force as it is.
So there are two questions. One is what can Congress do? Well, we have, or the United States can do generally. You have either carrots or you have sticks. We can either provide money or we can provide sanctions. We can provide assistance for infrastructure, which is something we're doing right now, or we could use some of that money and designate it for particular purposes, or we can sanction individuals that are trying to affect their business interest. We could look at the trading relationships that they have with the United States of America. We could try and put sanctions in place to hold people accountable. We can try and bring the world community along with us, certainly the West, or through the United Nations, again, with either carrots or with sticks. And a gentleman suggested, why don't we dissolve the country? I have to be very candid with you. I don't have any clue whatsoever as to what the answer is. I'm the least educated person on this entire call as to what the right answer is for Nigeria. What needs to be done is there needs to be a consensus built by the people on this call, with groups interested in this, people involved with the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, with our diplomats, the State Department, and with our military, quite frankly, to develop a consensus as to what the game plan is from Nigeria. Right now, there are so many competing concerns for the U.S.'s attention that Nigeria, while it is an issue of concern, it's a country of particular concern because of the awful atrocities that are taking place, there is not that much energy focused on it as it is, for example, let's say China, which is the new issue that has become such a tremendous focus in the country. So the good news is that Frank Wolf is passionately involved in this. Chris Smith is passionately involved in this. Many others are passionately involved in this. What I can do to be helpful is to try and get others interested in this, especially those people on the committees of jurisdictions. Mainly, I'd be most concerned about foreign affairs. Greg Smith is the chair. Greg Meeks is the chairman of foreign affairs. He's my neighbor in Congress as far as his district is right next to mine. I have a very good personal relationship with him. He's always been interested in the continent of Africa. So I will bring this to his attention personally and ask him what his plans are, which I'm not sure he knows much more about this than I do. I will also bring it to the attention of the subcommittee chairwoman, Karen Bass, who's very interested in this area as well. And I'm sure they know much more as well. So the key is to get more and more people interested in this. And then there are some friends that we can talk to on the Armed Services Committee as well to see what kind of interest there is in paying attention to the terrorism activity that's going on in the area, which there is plenty of attention now, but what can be done to increase that?
Is there one last question, Paul?
Yes, sir, Congressman. Margarita Starkovich-Chute, a former member of the European Parliament, has actually joined us. And Margarita, if you can go ahead and unmute your microphone, you can ask. I think she's having some problems with her microphone, so we can go ahead and wrap up if you'd like, Congressman Wolf, and get some last statements from our panel.
Okay, I'll do. I will. I'll turn it over to both Mr. Smith first, then Mr. Swazi, and then Dr. Becky to make some closing remarks.
Okay. Very briefly, thank you, Frank, and thank you, all of you. Good to see my good friend, Tom Swazi. Dr. Becky, thank you for your tremendous insights and work. When we return, I will be introducing the Nigeria Religious Freedom Act. It is still a work in progress, but we've got a lot of the provisions worked out. So I invite any thoughts anyone might have on that. We really need, when the Secretary of State had this conversation and with the top commander for AFRICOM visited Nigeria, I saw no mention whatsoever of religious persecution, Fulani, or any other issues. Now, maybe it all happened behind closed doors, which is very possible, but we have to really be very clear and unambiguous about our knowledge of what's going on. And again, we need to expand it. I think the Conflict Stability Operations Initiative, which was pulled back on, needs to be re-engaged. Deloitte was one of the ones that would have been a part of that. At least that's my understanding. So we bring in people who could really chronicle these human rights abuses quickly and accurately. But there needs to be an all-out effort. A special envoy is absolutely necessary, and as Frank pointed out so well, Chairman Wolf, it made all the difference in the world in the peace deal. It also made a huge difference, all the difference in the world, I would suggest, in with the Northern Ireland situation, when we had a special envoy who helped broker, get people to find a peaceful solution. Dissolution of a country is a huge, potentially catastrophic step. We're hoping that we can get this terrible bloodletting and this radicalization, because what's happening as we talk is that more young people are getting radicalized every day. And then they join the ranks of those who kill, maim, rape, and abduct. So we're in a race for time. Nigeria is, the people, it's a country of faith. Every trip I've made there, my first trip was, one of the first trips was on behalf of human trafficking. And so many young women and girls, I spoke to a group in Lagos about trafficking there. And when I went and visited with the women in the shelters and those who were taking care of them, was just in awe of the love and the compassion and the faith-based view that they had towards their neighbor. So they're wonderful people. And they don't deserve this. Nobody does. They don't deserve this radicalization and this bloodletting. So we need to triple our efforts. And again, status quo. I am concerned, and I say this, and Tom, you could help out on this as well, that the designation of CPC does not get downgraded, that they be put on a watch list again. And we need to be looking at the sanctions. We've got Magnitsky sanctions that we can level against individuals. And Frank, in his everlasting wisdom, put sanctions into his bill that were waived the first go around by Pompeo. A good faith effort here. You're on the list. Now make reforms. But those sanctions need to be looked at to impose on individuals and on the government itself. Thank you so very much.
Dr. Becky?
Yes, thank you very much, Congressman Wolf. I want to end by saying that the problem we have is structural. The problem we have is existential. It threatens the existence of the country if nothing is done. But I don't support the breakup of Nigeria. As an individual, my organization as well does not support the breakup of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria can be solved if we bring everybody back on the table to talk together, if we respect religious freedom, if the government does what it ought to do, if we operate a federal system. The Nigerian government structurally is a federal government, but right now it is not operating as one. It should be forced to go back and operate not as a unitary government, but as a federal system where the states can take decisions on security issues that affect them. I am not for the breakup of Nigeria. My organization is not for the breakup of Nigeria. I think what we should do is to look for positive ways in which Nigerian problems can be solved. Time is not on our side. Time is not on the side of the international group of countries that are interested in what's going on in Africa. Now is the time to act. I plead with you. I thank you for this, and I'm grateful for the promises that the congressmen have made. I think we should move fast to make them, to realize them.